Hi, I'd like to start off by sharing a little commentary on Chapter 4. It's not how your classroom looks, it's how it feels, on the Passionate Learners book. Lucio was nice enough to let me join in and be part of this book club, and I really have been enjoying this book, even though I'm really behind. I barely just finished Chapter 4. But I'd like to give a little commentary based on what I have in my classroom, the changes that I've been making since I've been teaching 6th grade, and also since I've been at the junior high. My classroom has changed quite a bit. Like we saw in that Chapter 4, the typical teacher that wants a perfect classroom, how it looks is critical, and to how it functions, that kind of mentality was where I was at back when I was teaching 6th grade. I mean, everything was about how I decorated the room, how I made it look, and how I prepared the classroom prior to the students coming in, which gave them very little ownership over what I'm trying to do now. And still I have a lot to do as far as getting in line with how my students can get more involved, and there can be more student ownership over what the classroom itself looks like. I'm gonna switch over the video so that you guys could see my classroom a little bit. And there's still a little bit of that 6th grade classroom that I had back at Cesar Chavez, but there's also a little bit of my attempt at becoming more in line with being a more flexible, more open to the students having a larger part, a larger stake on what my classroom looks like, or what our classroom should look like, and incorporating more of them and less of me. But you'll still see a little bit of me here and there. So let's take a look at what that looks like. See if I can flip the camera. Okay, so I do have computer lab rules, so that's something that still may not be out of the question yet. Computer lab rules, obviously, since I'm in a technology setting, computer lab setting, that's going to be pretty critical to making sure my students are aware and the parents become aware of what our rules are. But I really like the idea shared in Chapter 4 of, creating the rules as we go, and allowing the students to take part in those rules. And I did this year, we did do a survey, and the kids did chime in. In fact, they created their own rules videos at the beginning of the year, so that kind of helps with the as far as them feeling that they are being taken into consideration, that their ideas are being valued. And so I do have class rules still, class rules that I got off Pinterest, and they're just 5 basic little rules. So that's not what it used to be, where I had these really hardened consequences back in 6th grade, where I had a monetary system, how to run my classroom. I don't use a monetary system anymore. I'm not rewarding students left and right. I am still using, I went back to Class Dojo this school year, and I am still using that management system as a way to keep students on task, to give them some type of reward, some way of me showing them that they are participating in class, that they're active, that they're involved, and also to try to motivate them to take part in the class. But I don't want that to be punitive either. And the book talks a little bit, or the chapter talks a little bit about that, as far as how that can backfire on us as teachers. So it's something I'll definitely need to work on. If you look at my posters, I do have posters for the academics as well. I also teach English support, so I have a little bit of annotations, annotation marks, academic language strategies, the race strategy for reading, reading comprehension. I have some of the art projects I did a while back in 6th grade, so I kind of brought back a little bit of the comic book art project that I took part in a while back, where you're using comic book writing to motivate students as far as to get them a little bit more into literature and a little bit more into writing, a little bit more to their level, to their liking. So I have some of the work that they've done throughout the year. The classroom still has a lot of stuff that's still a lot of me, Star Wars. So I do give them a little bit of a feel for the things that I like, definitely. And so this corner over here is a little bit of me. I have my posters, my Star Wars posters. I also have this curtain here to share the different things that students have given me. And just different things that I've been pinning up, and I still have a lot more that I want to have up here for my students. I have my children's pictures over here in the corner, but that's pretty much it. Here's a little last of the Star Wars, and it's kind of spread out throughout the classroom as well, but there's also a lot of student work here. There's storyboarding for video editing. A lot of that is in here as we've worked throughout the year on different videos. It does have some information for students. I do like Purnell Rip mentions in the book or in this chapter about having a website and basically having being able to find anything that a student needs off of the website. That's kind of what I've tried to do this year. So before I read this, I was already attempting to do that. Now I'm going to be even more focused on trying to make sure that the classroom website that I have is informative and is helpful to students. Whether I'm here or not, they can go to that site and be able to get the information that they need in order to complete the assignment. So along with Google Classroom, students do use my classroom website on a daily basis, or they should be using it on a daily basis to keep track of deadlines, when things are supposed to be completed and things like that. But I have been really changing to becoming a lot more flexible in how I grade as well as how I teach, but definitely how I grade. I'm trying to grade students more on individual progress rather than as a comparison across the board, where I have a few shining stars and then I have all of these other kids that are failing, because I'm holding everybody accountable to the same exact things. So not that we shouldn't hold them all accountable to an equal standard, but they are different levels of learning, different abilities. And so I take that heavily into consideration, especially in my technology class, where it's a little bit more I am allowed to be a little bit more flexible because I am kind of building my own curriculum and my own projects and my own way of grading, my own rubrics. So I really try to make sure that the grading is done in a fair manner to each individual child. So I really love this book. I really love the fact that I've been able to take part in this book club, even though this is the first time I get to share. I really love to kind of continue hearing from everyone, because I have been following along, even though I haven't been very active. I am learning a lot from everybody. And I'd love to hear some more about what everyone's doing in their own classrooms, how they're attempting to take what this author is providing, this knowledge that she's providing for us, and how you're planning on implementing that into your classroom and how you're doing it at the moment. So thanks again, and I hope to see everybody this afternoon at the book club meet at Starbucks later today. Thanks a lot, and have a great day. Bye.